Well, good evening, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana Weather. I want to bring you my latest long-range update here, and we got some big changes in the forecast. We've had some wet and stormy weather over the past week. No, not everybody's had rain all the time, but we've certainly saw our fair share of stormy days. The good news is I got some rain-free days coming up. The bad news is it comes with the price of a heat wave. We'll talk about that in a second, but for now we've got some isolated storms still possible overnight. Here's future radar as we go into the overnight hours. Nothing just overly really sticks out to us as impressive at this point. As you go down later on into the day tomorrow, we do see some spotty stuff showing up. For the most part, Friday stays dry, but here as we go later into the day, we've got some storms starting to erupt maybe here as you get into the heat of the day. This would be about 6 o'clock, so maybe tomorrow evening we got some storms. Again, pretty spotty in nature, but then that pretty much dies off overnight. It looks like we have a pretty nice weekend shaping up. Temperatures then on Saturday looking like maybe the mid 80s or so. We're going to be upper 80s to near 90 tomorrow with some spotty storms during the afternoon. Then Sunday, looking like a pretty nice day as well, but temperatures in the upper 80s. Unfortunately, beyond that though, looking like 90s are coming back for next week the way things look. Let me show you what the upper level charts are looking like. Let's talk about this heat wave. What you're seeing here, just to basically explain it to you, this is a 500 millibar chart, and what you got here is anything in blue. This is what we call a trough. It's lower than normal heights for this time of the year, and basically what this is, think about this is cooler weather. Warmer shades over here, hotter weather. All right, you've got a huge ridge of high pressure here, a 594 decameter ridge of high pressure, and what you're going to have as I put this into motion is that this huge heat dome is literally just going to spread over the central part of the country and get us all into the heat. That's exactly what happens here as we go into Sunday. That ridge starts to spread off. By the time Monday comes, it's a closed circle, and we've got that heat dome pretty much out here into the central United States. And that sort of just expands and does not really start to retreat until you get later into next weekend, into early next week. It's going to last for several days as a result of this. So that means a string of 90-degree days plus are going to be coming our way, and unfortunately it's going to come our way with some high humidity as well. This is not going to be one of those dry heat waves. This is going to be one of those heat waves where it's just downright muggy and miserable. So if you're talking temperatures in the mid 90s, and unfortunately it looks like 70-degree plus dew points are going to be common throughout this, well, you're talking about heat indices over 100 easily during the daytime. So this is going to be a pretty big deal for those that don't like or can't tolerate this big weather. And unfortunately, right now, what we've got going on is it's pretty well a set deal that we're going to have a heat wave. Now, the details about this heat wave, not all there yet, but all the models are pretty much agreeing. Here's the GFS I just showed you, but here's the GEFS. This is its GFS ensembles. Again, there's that heat dome setting up shop right here in the center of the country. The Euro model is seeing that as well. You notice the position is a little bit different on each one of these, but the idea is there. On Euro ensembles, even stronger with it than the regular Euro model is. Even the Canadian ensembles showing this. And so what we've got going on here is just a massive heat ridge, and it's going to last for a little while. It's going to last for maybe 5 or 6 days even before the thing really starts to break down. So you can brace yourself for some really hot weather, unfortunately, because of that. How hot are we talking? Well, let's talk about the temperatures. Let's look what the GFS is doing here. By the time you go into tomorrow, temperatures in the upper 80s around the area. Not bad. Saturday, temperatures lower to mid 80s. I'm going to go with around 85 or so for us. Sunday, it looks like we will get into either the upper 80s to near 90 around the area, unfortunately. But then the heat is on again. Possibly some showers there on Monday as a disturbance moves through. That could keep our high temperature down a little bit, but I do think 90s are certainly possible as we head into Monday, depending on how little the rain gets. And then look at this. By the time you wake up on Tuesday morning, this is forecasting a low of 74 for us. Absolutely muggy weather. And then near 90 again on Tuesday. Look as we go later on into the week. Thursday, the low 90s returns. Look at this, mid 90s by Friday. And look at this. By the time you go Saturday, the 23rd, a week from this Saturday, yeah, you got that right. This grid point is showing 99 as I zoom in on another view of this a little closer to the area, just look what kind of obscene temperatures you're getting. That's 100 degrees in Louisville. And so this is just massive heat. 103 here in southern Illinois. The good news is, if there is any good news to this, is I think that the biggest part of the heat, the strongest of the heat, is going to be off to our west just a little bit. It's not going to be pretty for folks. Look here from Texas all the way up. As I said, this is going to be this is probably where the worst of the heat dome is going to be, because this is where the high pressure is going to sort of set up shop. We're going to be on the fringe of it. We're still going to get the heat, and it's going to be oppressive and miserable, but not as bad as it could be, all things considered. You're talking, look at this. I mean, this is 109 degree temperature around Oklahoma, if that's right. That's extreme. Well, we'll hope that's not right, but unfortunately, confidence is growing in a pretty massive heat wave as far as that goes. We don't want temperatures like this, and especially if we get temperatures in the upper 90s here around southern Indiana, and we get dew point temperatures in the 70s. You don't even want to know what the heat index is going to be. It's 120 plus. It's going to feel absolutely miserable around here, unfortunately. If there is any good news with that, it is going to be that the rain will retreat with it. So here we are looking at vorticity around that heat dome, and vorticity is a spin in the atmosphere shown by the colors that you see here on the map. And this is just, think of this as the pieces of energy that move over us, helps to create the rain if there's an absence of a front, especially works in conjunction with the front if there is. So if I back this up in time a little bit, what you see is this weekend, look at the vorticity up here to our north. That's going to spark off some showers and storms for us, possibly on Sunday and Monday, late Sunday night into Monday. But then as this heat wave expands, it just sort of shuts down the vorticity, and it gets sort of minuscule to the point where there's nothing going on. And I think what you're going to see is a beautiful sunshiny sky, a very clear night, and you're going to find maybe a few clouds, but they're going to be few and far between, and you're going to find no rain for days under this heat wave. So it will be a different kind of pattern, that's for sure. The rain will shut off for a little while once we get into this. Unfortunately, it's going to come at the cost of high heat. Question is it going to be 100 degree temperature heat yet? Of course, that's a big question at this point. I would not trust this just entirely yet. Here's the reason why. Understand that we're more than a week away from this temperature. Models change left and right all the time on this. But the other thing is, we've been so moist around here, it's going to be very hard to see us go to triple digits. Triple digits usually only occur around here whenever we've got very dry conditions and we get a heat wave over us. Then you can put up into those triple digits a lot easier, because, well, dry air heats up in the atmosphere way faster than moist air does. All right. So if you've got dew points that are still in the 70s plus, and you've got all this moisture that's still in the ground, think triple digits are a stretch for us at this point. They're not out of the question, but they're a little bit of a stretch for us at this point. I'm not sure that I would be ready to forecast 100 yet. I think in my forecast I'm going to go more around 95. That's still hot. Let's understand that. That's still hot, but maybe a little bit better, at least on the mind, than what 100 degrees is around the area. All right, folks, here's the way the forecast shakes out. You can go to southernindianaweather.com, click on 10-day forecast, and there we go. Maybe some isolated stuff tonight, nothing big. Spotty storms tomorrow, maybe a 30 or 40% chance, nothing bad, upper 80s. Pleasant weekend, no rain until possibly Sunday night when we get some scattered showers moving in during the overnight hours. And then look at this, the 90s return lower to mid 90s as we go into the first few days. Some storm chances possible Monday and Tuesday, but they're pretty low at this point. Then the heat dome really sets up shop. It's going to be bright sunshine with not a whole lot of clouds, just some high thin clouds possibly, but even temperatures as far as this goes. I'm going next Friday in the heart of that heat wave to 95. Saturday's not in the outlook here yet. Saturday's when the GFS is saying 100. I'm not ready to go 100 yet. 95 is as far as I'm going to go yet, but regardless, I think it's going to be absolutely a huge heat wave for us. We're going to go way higher and way muggier and more miserable than we have seen all throughout the year. So just keep that in mind, folks, unfortunately. All right, folks, the heat wave is coming, so brace yourselves, prepare now. Keep it tuned here to Southern Indiana Weather for more updates. I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite. Have a great night.